Welcome back. Jason Andera and Jody Norstedt are here to help us talk about the Player of the Year in high school football. So many great players to pick from and still a few weeks left for these guys to make a big impression. But as of right now, you guys came up with your 5 finalists. So we're going to start in North Dakota with you, Jody. Why did you go with Andy Gravdahl at the top?
Well, you know, the stats are great, but it's what he does when he improvises, extends plays with his feet while keeping his eyes downfield to find one of his great receiving targets. Jay Gibson said he doesn't remember ever calling this many pass plays, but it's hard not to when you have a talent that you can trust like Gravdahl. He's been absolutely phenomenal this year.
So it's hard to narrow down the list to 5 people, but there had to be a few others on your radar just outside of that top 5. So talk about some of those other players, Jody.
Yeah, how much time do we have, right? Century quarterback Jacob Olsen, he's 18-3 as a starter, could lead the Patriots to back-to-back state titles as the starter, could make it a three-peat for Bismarck Century. Then you have a guy like Jalen Sprecher, who's rushed for 1,000 yards, 20 touchdowns for Bismarck High. Austin Erlob at Cavalier, Wyatt Harless at Wyoming-Lidgerwood, Jacob Delville at Langdon, Jaden Mitzel at Shiloh, all great quarterbacks at small schools. Shanley's Jake Cava might be one of the best college prospects in the state. So many guys to choose from.
All right, well, back to the top 5. Of the rest of those besides Andy Gravdahl, who has the best chance of making a really good postseason run and maybe jumping up on that list?
I would say it has to be Evan Henke. New Salem Glen Ullin is an under-the-radar team, even though they were runner-ups a year ago. Henke has an elite weapon in Braden Zuroff. He should be probably considered on the list too. I just think he's such a gamer. Henke loves football, and what he did in that wild win against Shiloh, snapping their home winning streak, was something else. Henke and Zuroff are both juniors, two guys. Start of a great run here for the Holsteins.
All right, well, great stuff. Thanks so much, Jody.
You bet.
On to South Dakota, Mr. Jason Andera. Kind of the same question I asked Jody, but for you, why Peyton Zabel at number 1?
You know, Peyton Zabel is a great quarterback, and he's got to be the most valuable player in the entire state. When he doesn't play well, Peter doesn't play well. This guy can sling it 200-plus yards per game in the air, but what he's done on the ground has really helped this year as well. He's able to escape the pocket, extend plays. He throws a great ball that his receivers can come down with. Peyton Zabel, in my opinion, the most valuable player, which makes him the best player in the state right now.
And we just hope that shoulder heals up.
Yeah, that's going to be trouble.
Shoulder.
He's got the non-throwing shoulder injury. Trying to practice this week. We'll see how that goes before Thursday night's game.
So Peyton Zabel at number 1, and then looking outside the top 5, any honorable mention picks or people that, I feel like there's a lot of talent in South Dakota, people that maybe could have made the list?
Well, I think you got to look at a guy like Tupac Capella, who missed a couple games and a couple halves this season. He could have been a lot higher on the list. He's had several games in a row with 200-plus yards, and a lot of those he did in just a half of play. So he was very close to cracking that top 5. You also have to talk about Jade Vanderwerff, who missed part of the season for Gregory. He would normally be included on a list like this as well, and plenty of other quarterbacks and plenty of other playmakers throughout the state.
Well, you've got people like Braden Peterson of Brandon Valley, Seth Benson, Washington, Andy McCants, and the Yankees on your list, but not number 1. So looking at kind of what I asked Jody too, which one of those players could maybe have a really great postseason and move up on the list?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you look at that group, you got to look at Andy McCants out of Gregory. This is a guy picked to win the championship. They are undefeated so far in the season, and he just slings the ball all over the field. I've said it before, if he wasn't 5'9" or 5'10" or whatever he actually is, if he was even 6', 6'2", I think every college in the state would be after this guy. And even at his height, he can play at 5'8", 5'9", and still make some huge plays. So I think Andy McCants could be that guy. If Braden Peterson can put a couple of great runs together like he has over the last couple of days, I think this is another guy that can make a huge, huge impression and really take the team on his back.
Yeah, we'll see what the playoffs bring. Well, thanks, Jandy.
You bet, anytime.
All right, well, we'll hear from both Jody and Jandy later in the show when they have their guests on to make picks for the quarterfinals. Coming up after the break, though, it's a Bison breakdown. Brian Shawn sits in with Cole Jerk and Joel Curlin to talk all things NDSU football. Stay right here.